Peace up, A-Town down.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
What part of Greece are you from?
Από ποια μεριά από την Ελλάδα είσαι?
Δίπλα στην Αθήνα.
Very close to Athens.
45 minutes
45 minutes north.
after the Athens.
Okay. And do you still have family there?
My sister,
Okay.
my nephew,
Mhm.
one brother. My brother, she's died.
The rest of her brothers and brothers have passed away.
Εγώ είμαι η πρώτη της οικογένειας και είμαι
She was the
το
first one in her family. She was the firstborn, so she was the oldest.
So how is life in America different than Greece?
Δεν έχει χαρές εδώ. Δεν έχει γιορτές εδώ όπως έχει
There's
Ελλάδα.
not as many traditions here as there were in
Holidays,
Greece.
a lot of
Holidays.
holidays.
You have a holiday for your name day.
Church.
People went to church a lot more than they
Lot
do
of
here.
church.
There was an opportunity to meet, people there and to get dressed up.
Κάνουν γιορτές όλοι μαζί.
Everybody had holidays together.
Χορεύουνε
They danced
έξω από τα σπίτια τους.
outside of their houses. They enjoyed themselves.
Τη ζουνε τη ζωή και
They
χαίρονται.
lived their lives.
Ενώ εδώ είναι διαφορετικά.
Here
Δεν
it's
βγαίνει το χρήμα, αλλά
They
η
work
ζωή
harder here.
δεν είναι όπως στην
And
Ελλάδα.
they make more money, but they don't enjoy themselves as
Nice
much as
life.
they do, or they did in Greece.
Time. Is time very important in Greek culture? Do you value time, or is it kind of like when you get there, or do you like to be timely?
Μοιάζει πολύ.
No, it doesn't matter very much.
Λείπω και 45-46 χρόνια εγώ από την Ελλάδα και δεν ξέρω, τα πράγματα έχουν αλλάξει.
Things may have changed since she was there, but it wasn't as strict as far as, being on time.
Now, can you describe the structure of a Greek family? Here in America, a lot of times, well, now it's more of, female and male roles are kind of on an even playing field, where back in the day in America, it was more men ran the household. In terms of Greek culture, how is the family structure?
Αλλά και στο και να μην έκανε. Άμα έβγαινε με άντρα,
They were very
κοιτάγανε
feministic.
αλλιώτικα.
They were, the male was
Now-
the dominant role, the
now
patriarch.
is same in America.
But nowadays everything's the same. It's more
Yeah.
level
Okay.
feel than it was back in the day.
Marry one man, that's it.
That's how it used to be. You wouldn't.
Baby
divorce
is good,
was
baby
unheard
no.
of.
Somebody is no good, the men's. And women's too.
The women, typically would work in the kitchen, and the men, take care of the children, and the men went out and worked in the field or did some mostly laborious tasks.
Για όλα.
As far as learning, when she grew up, it was during World War II, and then when the Germans came in, they basically took everything away. At the point in her life
Μας
where she
πήρανε
should
τα
have gone
σπίτια
to
και μένανε
school,
μέσα.
they took
μας
everything
διώξανε.
from them, and they stopped, them from going to school or doing
Ό,τι είχαμε
anything.
μας το
They
παίρνανε.
took whatever they had there, and it caused chaos at that time.
Now, what is the highest level of education that you were able to receive? in
Πόσο
Greece?
ήταν που πήγες στο σχολείο, που πήγες μέχρι τι?
Εγώ πήγα 6 χρόνια.
She went for 6 years. Και μετά τι έγινε?
Μετά έγινε ο πόλεμος.
And then started the war.
Now, obviously, back in that time frame, I would imagine that there would have been a lot of animosity towards the Germans. Do you feel like that is still carried over today?
Ήταν, όμως
Ελλάδα.
είναι έτσι με τη Γερμανία, η Ελλάδα
Δεν
ακόμα?
ξέρω στη Γερμανία. Έχει πάει ο κόσμος και δουλεύει εκεί οι Έλληνες.
No, she says not
Είναι
anymore.
different now.
There's, Greek people that go over there and work as well in Germany, so, things have gotten better. It was, she's been thinking about things. I think that's made a huge impact because she said at 6 o'clock they would
Γιατί
come. You
βομβάρδιζε,
couldn't go out. They wouldn't allow you to go out of your house after 6
τα
o'clock
αεροπλάνα
at
της
night.
Αγγλίας βομβαρδίζανε.
And there would be bombings.
Τους Γερμανούς και σκοτώναν και εμάς.
So
Ήταν
they were
μια
trying to
δύσκολη
kill the
κατάσταση.
Germans, the English, during that time in Greece. But instead they would also kill some of the Greek people there. So it's, you can tell
Δύσκολη
it had a
κατάσταση.
huge impact. She's talking about it a great deal on her life.
How old was she when she came to America?
Πόσο χρόνο ήσουν που ήρθες εδώ?
Εγώ 37. 37. Olga, after 6 months, speak English.
Wow.
Explain everything.
How many children did you have in total?
Πόσα παιδιά έχεις?
5.
5.
6 years married, 5 children. No diapers,
Wow.
No hot homes, nothing. No war, nothing.
So the culture is different. I mean, here, you know, everybody's used to diapers and having washing machines. Where back in the
Nothing,
day,
nothing.
they did everything by hand.
Τη μέρα είχα τα παιδιά και τη νύχτα έπλαινα στα ρουτά, όλα έκανα όλες τις δουλειές. Θυμόμουν να έκανα 2 ώρες.
Yeah, she'd do everything and she'd sleep very little, she said.
In the Greek culture, what is the view of the elderly?
Τους κοιτάνε.
Best posted
Κοιτάνε. Τους βάζουν στα γυροκομεία
They put them in, you know, they would put them in homes, but most of the time,
και άλλους τους έχουν στο σπίτι.
most of the time they would be home with the family.
Okay.
The family would help take care of them.
Was there a great respect for elderly in Greek culture?
Ανάλογα τους ανθρώπους.
It depended on
Εμείς
the person.
είχαμε τον παππού με 7 χρόνια παράλυτο. 7 years. Τον κοιτάξαν. Και εγώ ήμουν παιδί.
There was a huge responsibility that they felt that they had to take care of them. I mean, her
Αλλά δεν
grandfather was paralyzed for 7 years. They took care of him at home.
Δεν είχε wheelchair αυτά τα χρόνια.
They
δεν
didn't
είχε.
have a wheelchair in those days, so you know they were accountable for the elderly. It was a sense of responsibility towards them.
Right. Okay. And food. Food is a big part, I think, of everyone's culture. So in terms of Greek culture, are there particular dishes or foods that are very important to Greek culture?
Στην Ελλάδα είναι τι που τρώμε κάτι πολύ που φτιάχνουν.
Ψωμί τρώνε πολύ.
A lot of bread. Και τι άλλο.
Όλα δικά μας είναι. Έχουμε μποστάνια, έχουμε αμπέλια, έχουμε τα
Everything you know
φρούτα,
is made there.
τα πάντα.
They make their own bread. Of course, they harvest the wheat or whatever they need from. Everything is made from there.
Έχουμε το καλύτερο κλίμα
The
της
climate
Ευρώπης.
is such that they have fruit
Ο
in
Σοκράτης,
abundance.
ο Σοκράτης, γι'
Yeah,
αυτό τα λέει
Socrates
όλα.
said that Greece
Είναι πολύ ωραίο
was
μέρος.
the jewel
Πάρα πολύ ωραίο μέρος.
on a ring, or the diamond in your ring, because it just had a little bit of everything.
Να πάτε στην
Fish
Ελλάδα, να πάνε.
was a good. They eat a lot of fish and lamb.
Πολύ ωραίο ψάρι έχει. Πολύ ωραίο ψάρι.
Very nice. Very
Η
very good
θάλασσα έχει
fish.
περισσότερο αλάτι λένε.
They
Yeah,
say
but-
that the ocean has a lot of salt
Το ψάρι
in
είναι
that area, and the fish like that.
It's nice country.
Everybody seems to have tried
Ό,τι
to
βάζανε
claim
στα
it.
χέρια.
You know, it's been through a lot of turmoil with other countries such as Germany and Turkey, and always trying to take over the land. So they've seen a lot of
Τούρκοι 400 years
change.
είχαν το country αυτό. 400
It's a lot
years.
of turmoil. So it hasn't been where it, you know, they haven't had any
Πηγαίνανε στα υπόγεια τα παιδιά και
problematic.
μαθαίνανε γράμματα στις εκκλησίες και δεν χάσανε τη γλώσσα, δεν χάσανε τίποτα τα παιδιά της Ελλάδας. Τα διατηρήσαν. Εμείς θα είμαστε
They
Τουρκία.
try to keep up their culture,
Θα
even though
είμαστε
they were
Τουρκία.
trying to be conquered by the Turks and the Germans. They kept their culture, their language, their dialect. Nothing has changed as far as that goes.
Wonderful.
Κρυφά.
And their traditions, of course.
Με την εκκλησία μαζί δουλεύανε.
Now, in terms of Greek culture, if you go back to Greece, is there a particular look? Can you look at all the people in Greece and say, oh yeah, they're all Greek? Or is there a mixture?
Ίδιοι είναι. Σκούροι άνθρωποι είναι.
Darker,
Yeah.
darker,
Yeah, but what about the really light? There's a lot of light-skinned people with blonde hair and blue eyes.
yeah, it's really a mixture.
And now, how does the Greek culture view healthcare? Is it something that you treat more in your home? Do you go to the doctor?
Okay. Well, I think that they've, as far as common day, everybody does go to the doctor. I mean, there's a lot of great doctors and surgeons in Greece now, and I
Στην
think they
Αθήνα.
they don't try and remedy things as much as they used to in the old days with homeopathic.
Okay.
There are some, but not
Τα
that
καλά
many.
νοσοκομεία,
They
τα
go to
μεγάλα είναι στην
the
Αθήνα.
doctor for just about everything, just like we do here.
Εμείς είμαστε κοντά στην Αθήνα, εκεί πάμε.
And if something really critical happens, close to Athens, they have some great hospitals, so they go there.
Wonderful. Do you have any particular folk practices or holistic remedies that you still practice today, or hold dear, or superstitions possibly?
Εγώ πίνω χαμομήλι για να κοιμηθώ το βράδυ.
She drinks chamomile so she can sleep
Έχω
at night.
πρόβλημα με το κεφάλι μου που ξαφνικά μου ήρθε.
As far as the evil eye and that kind
Τα
of thing.
θετικά έχω, όλα τα έχω.
And she does the incense.
She does some religious, spiritual, incense.
Και το έχω εκεί να το
If you
βλέπω.
can't go to church, you can light up incense, and it's a spiritual tradition that they do in the house. They light up a little piece of charcoal, and they put on top of it. There's like a little wick, and it's
Σαν
just
σήμερα δηλαδή Κυριακή.
it's an incense.
Και σβήνει μόνο του αυτό.
And then when it's done, it just kind of goes off on its own when it's finished.
Is it kind of like a spiritual cleansing in a way, almost as if you were to go to church?
Γιατί το κάνω αυτό?
Όλος ο κόσμος έτσι το κάνει.
Γιατί το
Για
κάνω?
να ευχαριστήσει το Θεό.
So they can.
Επειδή είναι φως.
It's a light. It lights up. It's something to do that's holy and
Σαν
to be
ευχαριστώ
close to God.
προς το
They have a lot of holidays.
holidays.
Fifty holidays.
Και
every
πολλές
month,
εκκλησίες έχουμε.
and
πάρα
many
πολλές.
churches. I remember there's one island that's very small, and on this particular island, there's 42 churches.
Wow.
Okay, and it's a small little island, like 5 miles long. So
And your religion? What would you say your religion is?
Που τι είναι το θρησκείο σου?
Ορθόδοξη.
Orthodox.
Ορθόδοξη.
Greek Orthodox.
When somebody dies in your family or in,
Άμα
of
κάποιος
being
πεθάνει,
someone of Greek descent dies, is there any traditions that accompany that?
they would have him at home, and then the next day, they do whatever they
Γίνονται
could. The
κηδεία με
next day,
κόσμο.
people would come, and they'd say their goodbyes, and then the next day they would bury them. But it would all happen at home. They would never bring it
Όχι τώρα.
to a funeral parlor.
Not τώρα.
Although now it's different. It's
Mhm.
similar to, the same way that we do it here.
Okay. And here in America we have your Sweet 16. A lot of Hispanic cultures have the quinceañera. I just wanted to know, was there any rites of passage for Greek culture?
No, they don't do anything
No.
special not for Sweet 16. It's just for baptisms and birthdays.
Okay.
They have their name days, which is
Βαφτίζουν,
another almost
όταν
like a
βαφτίζουν τα
birthday.
παιδιά κάνουν μεγάλο πράγμα. Γάμους κάνουν ωραίους.
They have weddings and a lot of the same type of traditions.
Now, I don't know if Yaya has seen my Big Fat Greek Wedding, or if you have, is there any things you would clear up or say contradict, the spoof of the Greek culture that's seen in that movie?
No, she said she didn't like it.
She didn't like it.
Really?
But I think if you're going to ask me and growing up that way, I think it's pretty spot on. I mean, of course they took exaggerated things, but about the Turks and how they feel about them, and about the food. It's all about the food, the lamb.
Είχαν μια
Everybody's named
γειτόνισσα.
Nikki.
Yeah. The difference is, I think their holidays, they take Easter to the nth degree. That's the biggest holiday. That's, like she said, you'll see a cloud of smoke happening in the whole Greece because they have charcoal outside and they're roasting the lambs, and everybody's doing that, and they put on their best clothes, and it's the best day of the year. We have Christmas, they have Easter. If you went there and you experienced the Greek culture, one of the things you'll see is that they're outside a lot, and that they're actually, enjoying themselves a lot
Και
more.
γνωρίζουν ένας τον άλλον.
And everybody knows everybody else because they live, in small areas. Of course, there's Athens and the big cities, but mostly it's villages. And villages are, they know each other. They make their own food. They have their own bakeries. It's small communities within each village.
Σου δίνουν τι έχουνε. Σου δίνουνε.
They're very giving. They'll give you whatever they have. Back in the day, and that's another thing about culture. There's a lot of
Γιατί
farming that
my
they
father,
do, as opposed to that's
farmers,
predominantly
lot
what
of
they
farmers.
do is farming.
Can you describe, if we were to go back to Greece when you were 25, can you describe, if we sat down at your dinner table, what would a typical meal look like?
They like to see their tables filled. So if you
Αυγά
go there and you
δικά τους
experience, say,
έχουνε.
oh my God, this is so much food. But that's their way to
Και
show
ο ένας
you
απλά
that
και να
they
ήταν
want.
άλλο. Άμα είσαι στο
That you
τραπέζι,
should never
φάε.
go
Φάε το πάνω.
go away from their table hungry. Yeah, depending on where you are, I think that in my mom's case, because she was more inland, you would see more meat on the table. If you went you know, to the coastline, and we talked about that before, you would see more fish on the table. And, you know, during certain holidays, you eat just fish. You can't have meat. And they have a lot of fasting, like prior to certain Easter, you can't eat. Yeah, το Easter, πόσες μέρες δεν μπορείς να φας πριν?
40 μέρες, αλλά τώρα δεν το τρώνε.
40 days
Τώρα
without
τρώνε.
meat.
Τώρα τρώνε.
Okay, and then you would have meat.
Μια εβδομάδα
Certain days you
κρατάει.
had to fast the whole day before.
Και τώρα
That's unheard of here.
για Christmas time πάλι νηστεύανε.
Yeah, for Christmas also there's a fast. You know, you can't eat. And
Πάνε-
then you get baptized.
Πάνε,
Baptism, communion. We call it baptized, but it's
πάνε
communion.
τη νύχτα στις εκκλησίες. Τη νύχτα.
And the next day after communion, you can eat your meat. A lot of feta cheese.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, we completely
Lot of
forgot about the
cheese.
feta
Πολύ,
cheese.
πολύ. κρέμι.
That is also a staple in Greece. You go somewhere, they're going to bring out the feta cheese and the
Και
olives.
φρούτα
Yeah.
πολλά.
They would grow their own
Και
olives.
φρούτα πολλά.
And then beer and wine.
Φρούτα πολλά.
Ouzo.
Αυτά τα καραπούζια.
Yeah,
θυμάσαι.
a lot of fruit. Yeah, they grew their own watermelon, cantaloupe.
Είχαμε και το λάδι, ένα από τα
They
καλύτερα
made
της
their own
Ευρώπης.
olive oil. Oh gosh, let's not forget that. They can their own olive oil there. They press it and make their oil.
Well, thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
allowing us
Thank you, Vanilla.
into your home and learning about the Greek culture.
Να πάνε στην Ελλάδα, να πάνε και θα
Yeah, she
γίνουν.
says you gotta go to Greece.